We're back out at the big lake today, and we're talking about how to skip this and this just like a pro in the easiest way I know how to show you, from beginner to advanced. You don't want to miss this one. Stick around. There, I got him. You weren't getting away that time. I got you. Right there. Ah, got him. Ooh, that's another nice one. And here is this video's featured comment. Congratulations! If you would like to have a chance to have your comment featured in an upcoming video, all you've got to do is leave a comment. And now, on with the video. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing, and today we're talking about that age-old technique of skipping your bait deep under flooded brush or under a dock or whatever. Now, just because you're a bank angler does not mean that you don't need to know this technique. How many times have you gotten out on the bank and seen flooded brush to the left or to the right, or even someplace out in front of you that you would have liked to be able to get your bait far up underneath, because you know that's where the big girls are? So bear that in mind. Just because you're a bank angler doesn't mean that skipping a bait doesn't come in handy. I've used it from the bank many, many times myself. As a matter of fact, bank fishing is probably where I do most of my skipping and where I cut my teeth on it. Back when I was a kid, fishing the Fox Chain of Lakes and Fox Lake up north, I would skip baits up under boats, up under piers, around in the marinas, and that's where we would catch stripers and smallmouth and largies whenever we had our plastics tied on or our jigs. So ever since I was 15 or 16 years old, it's been something that I've learned how to do. And to be honest, I learned how to do it on an old Zebco 33, because that's what I had to work with. So you can skip a bait with any rod or reel combination. Now, skipping a bait can be a very daunting thing. Why? Because you don't want a backlash. You're afraid of using a bait cast to get your bait up under a brush or wherever you're trying to go, because you know you're going to backlash. And yes, you will. You will backlash. But it does not have to start that way. See, you can actually start with one of these. I've got a wacky rig tied on here on a finesse spinner combo, and this is what I use when I'm teaching people how to skip. This is where you start. There's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the same mechanics. It's the same wrist action, the same rolling technique. You hear people say it's like skipping a rock across the water. And I disagree with that to some extent, because I'm trying to more slide the bait across the water. I'm trying to get it to slide. I don't want it to hop like this as much as I want it to slide, like a baseball player sliding into home plate. That's kind of what I'm looking for with my technique. And it's not really that hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with just a simple weightless wacky rig. We've got our O-ring on, we've got a small wacky hook, and we've got 10-pound braid, and that's what we're going to work. A 7-foot medium action spinning rod, and this is what we're going to start with. So let's head out on the water and you see the basic mechanics of skipping with a spinning combo. This is what we're starting out with, a wacky rig on a finesse spinning combo. And that's what I like to start out with. I don't like to have a lot of line. I don't like to have a lot of line when I start, maybe 8 to 10 inches. And you can just skip it out like that. Let me show you again. See that brush right up under there? Let's see if we can't skip right up under that brush. See how nice and easy that is? It's just like you're pitching onto a green, right? Not like you're driving off of the tee. You don't want to knock the snot out of it. Like that right there. See how that water, you want it to slide across the water. That's what you're looking for. Let me show you again. Again, not a whole lot of strain hanging out, and just kind of nice and easy with it. See? Nice and easy. start out with a spinning rod. You just practice your technique. You know, if you're a bank angler, do it from, find you a clear spot on the bank where you can make that nice rolled sidearm swing. But once you practice it over and over and over again, it becomes second nature. And you can do it pretty much anytime you want to, anywhere you want to. Like right in here. See how easy that is? Just a real quick flick of your wrist. You want to think more along the lines of pitching onto the green than driving from the tee. Just like, you know, sliding it right into that cover, right? You see that? Just a real quick kind of sidearmy underhanding flick. That's really all you've got to do. And you can put it back there pretty much as far as you want to. You don't have to really rocket it. And that's just, you know, the very beginning basics. Start with a wacky rig. That's the easiest thing I can think of. That is the easiest thing I can think of to start skipping a bait. Just real nice and easy. Just like that. Like that motion right there. We're not trying to drive the ball off the tee. We're trying to pitch up onto the green from right at the edge. Nice and easy. And the good thing about starting with a wacky rig on a spinning combo is you're not going to backlash. You're not going to have that problem where if you get it wrong, you're going to spend all day picking your stuff out. You can work on your technique. Just slide it in there. Nice and easy. Now, when it comes to the different types of baits that I'm using to skip with, I try to stay away from anything that's got flappy appendages. A craw, a rage craw, a Christie craw, anything like that, they really don't skip very well. Something that has a flat surface but doesn't have much flappy appendages, like a fluke, a soft plastic jerkbait, those skip exceptionally well. But for me, a soft plastic worm, that's probably the best thing on a wacky rig, followed up probably by a fluke. Those are probably the two easiest things that I can get for anybody to skip. Now, after that, it's going to be an arky jig, something with a nice wide head, or a swim jig, something with a wedge style head like a Hack Attack swim jig or a Sixth Sense swim jig. Those are my personal favorites. Practice and find out what works for you. But whenever it comes to trying to skip a bait, I recommend staying away from the craws because they definitely don't skip so well. So as you can see, skipping with a spinning combo really is not that daunting. Once you get the mechanics of it down, it's really quite easy. You can do it over and over and over again, and you can increase the accuracy of your casting exponentially. And accuracy in casting is everything because a lot of times you've got to get right on top of those bass. They're not coming out of their cover. You basically got to bonk them in the head with it for them to give a reaction strike, especially on a pressured body of water. So being able to skip your bait back into where they are is invaluable. And doing it with a spinner combo, that's an easy and great way to learn. You're not getting any backlashes, plus you're learning the mechanics of it, you're learning the release point, you're learning how it feels, what it looks like when your bait's sliding across the water. Now, moving on, this is the advanced class, okay? And don't let it scare you too much, okay? Now, skipping with a bait caster really isn't all that hard, especially once you've had a lot of practice doing it with a spinning combo, which, again, that's where I suggest you to go. But this right here, this is a specific reel made exactly for skipping and pitching. This is a Lose Pro SP, which stands for skipping and pitching. It's got settings on it you see right here for skipping and pitching. The tension knob is dialed down pretty good. I've got the brakes on pretty good, and I've definitely got that drag star tightened all the way down. You've got everything tightened up really, really good. Now, as far as what I'm using to skip with, well, this is what I've got. I've got an Arky jig. You can see it's got a really broad, wide, flat head that's narrow. That displaces a lot of water when it hits, and it can slide across the water just the way I want. This is a 1/4 ounce size. I will also use a 3/8 ounce size. 1/2 ounce and above, you can skip them, but you're reaching the rule of diminishing returns. So it can be a little bit more frustrating, especially if you're trying to get way back in there, 40, 50, 60 feet or more. So let's go out on the water and I'll demonstrate the mechanics of how to do it with a bait caster. And you can see just exactly how similar it is to a spinning rod. Now when you're flipping with a jig on a bait cast, I like to make sure I've got a wide head. I got to make sure I like to have a wide head on that jig. This is an Arky jig. And when I'm doing it, look, I press the button. The jig's not going anywhere. I can dangle it like that, but I have my stuff set pretty tight. And then I can just, this is the same motion. No backlash. I'm doing this almost exactly the same motion as I would be with a spinner. And we're trying to get back like way up under there. Let's see if we can get way up under there. And you can skip it. And it's, I mean, I don't know, to me it's more sliding than it is skipping, really, if you're doing it right. Like that. And you're not gonna, if you've got your gear set up right, you're not gonna backlash. Like that. Again, there's no backlash on that. And it just takes practice. I'm doing the same kind of cast I would be if I was using a spinning combo. I just kind of rolling it sideways, rolling your wrists over, kind of rolling that way, rolling that way. You know, you practice it, you get to where you get your accuracy how you like it. Just like that. I hope I got that on camera because that was a beautiful slide. Just like that. That's what we're looking for. Just kind of roll your wrist like that. And look, no backlash, not even any fluff. Slide that dude in there, right? Like you're doing a golf swing. Like you're doing a golf swing. Nice and easy. You know, like you're pitching up to the green. So there you have it. Skipping a bait is an invaluable tool that's not nearly as hard to learn as you might think it is. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, and you will quickly develop a skill and knack for it. Now you're going to have to practice it. That goes without saying. That's any skill. But if you have access to an open spot of bank or a pier that you can stand out on the edge of, if you're a bank angler, or doing it in your boat if you happen to have a boat, just practice it doing it in open water. You don't have to skip up under brush to practice. As a matter of fact, I recommend using open water when you're skipping so you can get the technique down. Once you have the technique down of not slapping it into the water first and being able to stay behind your bait so you can get it to slide smoothly across the water, once you have that down, then you can move on to actually trying to place it into the pinpoint pockets that you're looking for. So there is that. But practice it, stay with it, start with a spinning combo, then graduate to a bait caster, and you'll be all set. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.